Mastering the skill of humor isn't just about cracking jokes. It's about unlocking doors to success, building connections, and making life and work a whole lot more enjoyable. The skill of humor. Laugh your way to success in life, work, and happiness. Written by Leorin Tabast and published by Listen, Grow Sleep. Introduction. My 80-year-old grandfather once texted me, "Dear grandson, trying out texting. Love, Grandpa." When I told him he didn't need to format it like a letter, he replied, "Dear grandson, okay. Love, Grandpa." This small interaction highlights something powerful. Humor connects us. It's not just pleasant, it's a tool that can transform relationships, enhance careers, and improve well-being. Research shows people who use humor effectively experience less stress, communicate better, build stronger relationships, and advance more quickly professionally. Many believe humor is innate. You're either born funny or not. This audiobook challenges that idea. Humor is a skill that anyone can learn and improve. You don't need to become a comedian to harness humor's power. You just need to understand its principles and apply them authentically. In the following chapters, we'll explore humor's science, learn from professional techniques, and develop practical strategies for bringing more laughter into your life. You'll discover your unique comedic perspective, learn to connect through humor, navigate its boundaries, and use it for personal and professional success. Let's begin this journey with curiosity about how a little more laughter might transform your world. Chapter 1. The unexpected power of humor. When discussing humor's importance, people typically react in two ways. Of course, humor is nice, or that's for comedians, not serious professionals. Both miss the point. Humor isn't just pleasant, it's powerful. Think about a tense meeting transformed by a well-timed joke. That's not just a nice moment, that's influence in action. The science is compelling. Laughter releases endorphins while reducing stress hormones. It improves immune function and can increase pain tolerance by 10%. One study found that leaders who use humor effectively are rated 27% more motivating and their presentations 43% more persuasive. Professionally, humor increases productivity, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. Teams that laugh together collaborate better and show greater resilience. In communication, humor dramatically improves message retention. Humorous advertisements are remembered 30% more often than serious ones. In relationships, shared laughter creates lasting bonds. Couples who laugh together report higher satisfaction and longevity. Even with strangers, humor creates instant rapport. Perhaps most surprisingly, humor helps navigate life's difficulties. Viktor Frankl, who survived concentration camps, called humor one of the soul's weapons in the fight for self-preservation. It creates distance between ourselves and our problems, offering perspective when we need it most. Despite these benefits, we've created a false dichotomy between being serious and being humorous. We've relegated humor to entertainment contexts while keeping it out of serious spaces like boardrooms and hospitals. This separation misunderstands human psychology. We don't process information purely rationally. Our emotions and engagement matter enormously. Humor addresses our need for connection and perspective that purely serious approaches often miss. The good news, incorporating humor doesn't require becoming a comedian. Small moments of lightness can transform interactions, presentations, and relationships. Next, let's address the most common objection to developing humor, the belief that you're either born funny or you're not. Chapter 2. Humor as a learnable skill. I'm just not a funny person. This common belief is fundamentally incorrect. Humor isn't an innate trait. It's a skill that can be learned and improved. Professional comedians weren't born funny. Jerry Seinfeld, Tina Fey, and Dave Chappelle all spent years developing their craft. We only see their polished performances, not the countless hours of practice and failed jokes behind them. Research confirms this skill-based view. brain imaging shows that humor processing involves multiple cognitive regions that strengthen with use. Humor breaks down into 4 learnable components. Humor recognition, identifying what's funny in situations. Humor creation, generating humorous content through techniques like exaggeration and unexpected connections. Humor delivery, presenting humor with effective timing and expression. Humor appropriateness, understanding when and where different humor works. My own journey illustrates this learning process. I was the serious academic kid, not the class clown. In college, I studied how effective speakers used humor, practiced in low-stakes situations, and gradually improved. Each attempt, even the failures, taught me something valuable. The journey to humor skill typically progresses through awareness, recognizing humor as a skill, imitation, trying techniques you've observed, experimentation, finding your unique style, and finally integration, using humor naturally. The key is practice with feedback. You don't need to become a comedian to benefit. Even small improvements yield significant benefits in your personal and professional life. If you've told yourself, "I'm just not funny," try replacing that thought with, "I'm developing my humor skills." This simple shift opens the door to growth that a fixed mindset keeps firmly shut. Chapter 3. Finding your comedic perspective. Great comedians have distinctive viewpoints. Their humor works because it comes from authentic perspectives, not just clever punchlines. Your comedic perspective is shaped by your unique background and experiences. The engineer, artist, parent, and immigrant all notice different things. These differences are humor gold mines. To discover your perspective, notice what naturally amuses you. Do you spot linguistic quirks, social absurdities, contrasts between expectations and reality? Mine your experiences for material. Self-deprecating humor works well because it's authentic. When I joke about using mathematical pickup lines, it's funny because it reflects my genuine comfort with numbers over flirting. Practice concise articulation. Elevators are the only place where people stand inches apart while pretending everyone else is invisible, like social freeze tag, nobody agreed to play. Test observations in low-stakes situations and learn from responses. Not every attempt will succeed, but each provides valuable data. Study comedians whose style resonates with you to understand effective techniques. A powerful technique is the "if this is true, what else is true?" approach. If people treat pets like children, does that make the dog park a playground with really permissive rules about biting and public pooping? The goal isn't becoming someone else's version of funny, but expressing your genuine observations in ways that create connection. Chapter 4. The yes and mindset. Improvisational comedy is built on a fundamental principle, yes and. When someone presents an idea, you accept it, yes, and build upon it, and. This creates a dynamic where ideas develop in unexpected directions. In practice, Performer 1. This spaceship has amazing cup holders. Performer 2. Yes, and they adjust to hold any beverage in the galaxy, even that lava smoothie you love. The second performer didn't say, "We're not in a spaceship." That would shut down creativity. Instead, they validated the idea and expanded it. This principle helps develop humor by encouraging exploration, applied to everyday situations. People get territorial about office mugs. Yes, and there's a direct correlation between how plain the mug is and how aggressively it's defended. That chipped company logo mug from 2007, that's someone's prized possession. The yes and mindset also improves conversations. Instead of waiting to speak or contradicting others, no but, you build on their contributions. If someone describes a terrible DMV experience, don't say, "That's nothing. Let me tell you about my DMV nightmare." Instead, try, "Those places are time warps, aren't they?" And somehow they've created lighting that's simultaneously too bright and too dim, like they hired a vampire with a migraine as their interior designer. To strengthen this skill, play the yes and game with friends. Practice mental yes and with your own observations. Build on others' comments before changing topics. Apply it to challenges. Yes, this flight is delayed and now I have time to finish my book. This mindset isn't about toxic positivity, it's about working with reality rather than fighting it. As you practice, your humor will become more fluid and your conversations more engaging. Chapter 5. Commitment and confidence. The difference between humor that lands and humor that falls flat often comes down to commitment and confidence. Commitment means fully embracing your material with conviction. Confidence means trusting it enough to deliver without undermining signals like nervous laughter or qualifiers. Research confirms that confident speakers are rated as more credible, persuasive, and funnier. When you seem uncertain, your audience will be too. Don't undercut yourself with phrases like, "This probably isn't that funny, but..." These create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Similarly, avoid laughing at your own material before others respond. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It means presenting your perspective with the assumption that it has value. To strengthen these qualities, practice in low-stakes environments. Prepare key pieces of humor. Focus on material that genuinely amuses you. Adopt confident body language. Embrace fake it till you make it. Develop simple recovery strategies for when humor doesn't land. Break the fear cycle by recognizing that humor is subjective. Even professional comedians don't get laughs 100% of the time. Reframe failures as valuable data. Your audience takes cues from you. When you deliver humor with conviction, you make it easier for them to engage and enjoy. Chapter 6. Humor without risk. Fear of failure keeps many people from using humor, but you can minimize risks by understanding what makes humor connect rather than divide. Distinguish between jokes that fail because they're not funny, normal learning, versus inappropriate, avoidable. Inappropriate humor involves sensitive or controversial subjects, punching down at marginalized groups, poor timing during serious moments. Connecting humor focuses on shared experiences, targets systems rather than individuals, uses self-deprecation rather than criticism, highlights universal absurdities. Self-deprecating humor is particularly safe. I spent so long researching vacuum cleaners that my floors developed their own ecosystem. This creates connection through shared experience without harming others. Observational humor about universal experiences, like airport security or office celebrations, also works well. When humor doesn't land, avoid. Explaining the joke, repeating it louder, making another joke about the failed joke. Becoming visibly embarrassed. Instead, simply acknowledge and move on. Even professional comedians expect some jokes won't work. Start with humor appreciation, sharing content you find funny before humor creation. When your humor comes from goodwill, most people appreciate the intent even if they don't laugh. The benefits of successful humor far outweigh the occasional awkward moment. Chapter 7. Humor in professional settings. Serious and professional are often treated as synonyms in workplace culture. We've been conditioned to believe that important work requires a serious demeanor and that humor signals a lack of commitment. This false dichotomy not only makes work less enjoyable, but actually undermines effectiveness. Research shows that appropriate humor in professional settings enhances outcomes. Leaders who use humor effectively are rated as 27% more motivating, and their messages are 23% more memorable. Humor signals both confidence and competence, qualities essential for professional success. Let's explore strategies for specific professional scenarios. In presentations and public speaking, humor captures attention, reduces tension, creates connection, and enhances message retention. Even technical presentations benefit from thoughtful humor integration. Use humor that's relevant to your content rather than random jokes. If you're presenting financial results, you might say, "Our expenses were down 12% this quarter, primarily because I finally figured out that cloud storage isn't actual clouds." Apparently, you don't need to rent blimps for data storage. This works because it's connected to your content, it's self-deprecating, and it's brief. Just a moment of lightness before returning to substance. Opening with appropriate humor increases audience receptivity. Using humor before complex information helps maintain engagement. Just avoid humor during the most serious parts of your content. In meetings, humor transforms dynamics by reducing status differentials, encouraging participation, and creating psychological safety. For example, if there's awkward silence after asking for volunteers, you might say, "I can actually hear everyone's strategic thinking about how to look busy right now." This acknowledges the awkwardness without targeting anyone specifically. Leaders can use self-deprecating humor effectively. I realized I've sent 3 emails asking for the same report. Apparently, my ability to track my inbox is inversely proportional to the number of meetings on my calendar. In written communication, humor requires extra care since tone can be easily misinterpreted. Use emoticons to signal humorous intent or include humor in clearly demarcated sections, like a PS at the end of an otherwise straightforward email. In client interactions, humor can differentiate your service and create memorable experiences. Southwest Airlines has built much of its brand identity around humor, with flight attendants delivering safety instructions with comedic twists. Ensure humor enhances rather than distracts from service quality and calibrate it to the client relationship. A consultant might write, "I promise my response time will be significantly faster than my teenage son replies to requests to take out the trash." In job interviews, strategic humor creates connection in situations where standing out positively matters. When asked about weaknesses, you might say, "I've been told I'm sometimes too detail-oriented. I once spent 3 hours organizing my email folders, only to realize I'd created such a complex system that I couldn't find anything." Across all professional contexts, remember these principles. First, humor should complement rather than replace substance, like salt in a meal. Second, timing and context awareness are crucial. What's appropriate in a team celebration might not work in a client presentation. Third, inclusivity matters even more in professional settings than in personal ones. Workplace humor should create connection across differences. Fourth, consider power dynamics. Those in leadership positions need to be mindful that their humor doesn't create discomfort for those with less power. Finally, authenticity remains essential. The goal isn't to become a workplace comedian, but to bring your authentic self, including your natural sense of humor, to your professional interactions. The benefits extend beyond momentary amusement. Regular, appropriate humor creates environments where people feel more engaged, creative, and connected. It reduces stress, enhances resilience, and improves collaboration. In the final chapter, we'll explore how to develop a humor habit, integrating these skills into your daily life in sustainable, authentic ways. Chapter 8, The Humor Habit. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored humor as a learnable skill with profound benefits. Now it's time to bring everything together into a sustainable practice, a humor habit that becomes part of your daily life. Like any skill, humor develops through consistent practice. The occasional attempt won't significantly improve your capabilities, but regular, intentional practice creates compound growth that enhances your humor skills and the benefits they bring. Here are practical strategies for developing your humor habit. First, start with humor appreciation before creation. Begin by simply noticing and enjoying humor around you more consciously. Follow humor accounts on social media or create a collection of content that makes you laugh. This regular exposure primes your brain to recognize humorous patterns. My grandfather developed a remarkable sense of humor late in life by simply reading the comics section of the newspaper every morning. This daily ritual gradually influenced how he saw the world, helping him notice the amusing aspects of everyday situations. Second, create a humor journal. Throughout your day, jot down observations or situations that strike you as potentially humorous. Don't worry about crafting perfect jokes, just capture the raw material. This trains your attention to notice humorous potential in everyday experiences. Third, Find humor buddies, people with whom you can practice humor in a supportive environment. These relationships provide low-stakes opportunities to try out observations and experience the collaborative joy of shared humor. Fourth, incorporate humor rituals into existing routines. Add humor to things you already do regularly. Start team meetings with a relevant, humorous observation. Add a light-hearted comment to your daily check-in with your partner. Share something that made you laugh during family dinner conversations. But fifth, embrace the experimental mindset. View your humor attempts as ongoing experiments rather than high-stakes performances. Not every attempt will succeed, and that's an essential part of the learning process. Professional comedians expect that only a percentage of their material will work well. They test, refine, and sometimes discard jokes based on audience response. Adopting this same approach takes the pressure off individual humor attempts. 6. Occasionally practice specific humor skills intentionally. Take an improv class. Practice crafting observations using the yes and technique. Analyze humor you enjoy to understand why it works. As you develop your humor habit, you'll likely encounter challenges. Challenge. I forget to practice humor when I'm busy or stressed. Solution. This is precisely when humor is most valuable. Create environmental triggers to remind you to find the lighter side during challenging times. Challenge. My humor feels forced or inauthentic. Solution. Focus first on noticing what genuinely amuses you rather than trying to perform for others. Authentic humor emerges from genuine amusement. Challenge. I'm in a humor rut, sharing the same kinds of observations repeatedly. Solution. Deliberately expose yourself to different humor styles. Follow diverse humor creators or challenge yourself to find humor in new subjects. As your humor habit develops, you'll begin to experience compound benefits. Relationships deepen through shared joy. Resilience increases as you find humor even in difficulties. Professional opportunities expand as you become known for engaging communication. Stress decreases as you develop the habit of finding perspective through humor. Overall life satisfaction improves as you experience more frequent positive emotions. Perhaps most importantly, developing a humor habit transforms how you experience the world. You begin to notice the amusing aspects of everyday situations that others miss. You develop the ability to create moments of lightness even in challenging circumstances. This transformation unfolds gradually through consistent practice. The journey isn't about becoming a professional comedian, it's about becoming more fully yourself, expressing your unique perspective with confidence and playfulness. Take one small step today toward developing your humor habit. Notice something amusing, share an observation, appreciate a moment of laughter, then do it again tomorrow. These small actions, compounded over time, will develop your skill of humor and enrich your experience of life. Remember, humor isn't just a nice-to-have addition to a successful life, it's an essential ingredient in creating one. By developing your skill of humor, you're investing in your relationships, resilience, professional success, and overall well-being. That's no laughing matter, or perhaps it's exactly the laughing matter that matters most.